What is the weirdest fact you know? The flower yarrow has the Latin name Achillea. It's called that because it's supposed to be the herb that soldiers used to try and stop Achilles' heel from bleeding at the Battle of Troy in the Iliad. Spoiler, he died. If you looked at one star per second, it would take you over 3,000 years to look at all the stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Manatees aren't fat. They're round. Many mammals develop a layer of fat or blubber to preserve body heat. Manatees are tropical mammals and do not need a lot of body fat. During mating, male anglerfish will fuse with a larger female, allowing them to share not only sperm but also blood and skin. They become one amalgamated abomination that haunts the deep for the period of mating. It's a deep-sea anglerfish, not a hagfish. Different nightmare. Ancient Greek Olympic runners, competing nude, would either wear a small cover over the tip of their penis or would tie their foreskin closed in order to avoid the embarrassment of accidentally exposing their glans head. Bees can experience time like we do. TLDR, scientists discovered this through witnessing them having jet lag. In the early 1700s, a common form of American torture was to tie someone up so that they were face down ass up, cut of their genitals, toss them in the fire, then shove them into their mouth burning. 100 recommend the British Museum of Torture. The McDonald's Big Mac has the same amount of calories as the average horse ejaculation when swallowed, smiley face. Marco Polo saw an unicorn while at Kublai Khan's court. Researcher would later figure out that he probably saw a rhinoceros. Betelgeuse is so massive it would contain the Sun, and the orbits of Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars and Jupiter. It also takes about 30 years to make one revolution. One day is 30 Earth years. During the American Civil War, it was an unspoken rule to never shoot a man while he was taking a shit cause of how severe stomach viruses and diseases were during the time. I'd about you guys, but if it were me, I'd be shitting at every battlefield in whatever theater I was in, lol. Apparently the way children start to hate their parents in puberty is an evolutionary way to prevent incest. Broccoli, cauliflower, kale, cabbage and Brussels sprouts are all the same plant cultivated for different characteristics. Your dog looks into your eyes and soul when taking a shit because it's looking up to you for protection in its most valuable moment. Yes, I'm invulnerable, y'all are correct on that. I was high as a giraffe's pussy last night trying to make this comment. The barnacle has, proportionally, the largest penis of almost any animal, up to 8 times their body length. When you get a kidney transplant they leave the old ones in unless there's a reason to remove them, cancer etc. I currently have 5. 2 original, 2 failed transplants, 1 functioning transplant. I'll give 2. The Tale of Genji, usually considered to be the world's first novel, not to be confused with Don Quixote. The first modern novel is over 1,000 years old. China is all under one time zone, officially Beijing time, to be specific, which means that all the way in the west of the country, the sun rises around 10 AM. Wombats poop cubes. 2 C401SSL1. The only person who witnessed all 3 nuclear explosions Trinity test, Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings in 1945, was a physicist who invented the exploding bridge wire detonator and believed in intelligent design, spending his retirement doing biblical archaeology in Israel. Bees like to play. Scientists put bees in a box thing under stress-free conditions with a few wooden round balls scattered about to see what would happen. There are videos of this experiment, and the bees just climb all over these wooden spheres, rolling them around happily. It's the cutest thing. Opossums have 13 nipples. A ring of 12 with 1 in the center. They also eat ticks, and their low body temperature makes them resistant to rabies. Flatworms are hermaphroditic and they mate by something called penis fencing. Basically they try to stab each other with their dicks till one of them comes on the other. The one who gets cummed on immediately goes searching for food cause it's the mom, and the one who came gets to swim away happily. Penis fencing video. A significant proportion of your body is genuine stardust. Apart from the hydrogen and some helium, every other element in your body was forged in the center of a star, as it fused. And everything after iron in the periodic table was forged in the very final moments of a star's death, as it violently collapsed and exploded. You're stardust, my dude. In many European languages all nouns are gendered, which makes saying non-binary a conundrum. Can't gender it feminine, can't gender it masculine, and using neutral form often seems pejorative, kinda like equivocating the person with an object. The human anus can stretch about 7 inches. And raccoons can fit into a hole with a diameter of about 4 inches. Therefore you can nearly fit 2 raccoons up your butt. Contrary to the claims of Rockstar and repeated as fact by the dutifully stupid media, the GTA San Andreas hot coffee scandal was not the result of hackers adding content to the game. All of the sex minigame features could be enabled by changing a 0 to a 1 in your save file. Hippos can't swim and also aren't buoyant. If they need to travel in deep water, they hold their breath and sink to the bottom and run along the ground. Hippopotamuses have incredibly strong bowel movements. When a hippo poops, it can come out reaching speeds of 30 miles per hour. Urethras have taste bud-like cells on their lining that alert the immune system when they detect bacteria in pee. There are currently over 700 species of Tillandsia aka air plants. The genus is the only genus of plant to have species that have evolved specialist trichomes on the entire leaf surface. These are used to absorb water from the atmosphere. Mine's about squirrels. They can theoretically survive a fall of any height, due to their mass and the way they expand their bodies when falling, lowering their terminal velocity to a survivable point. Male ostriches bred in captivity typically find humans more attractive than other ostriches, and try to seduce them. Ostriches also have bigger eyes than brains. France's longest land border is with Brazil. Japan has 2 capitals. They named Tokyo as a new capital but never officially designated Kyoto as a capital. Epstein didn't kill himself. Cleopatra lived closer to the development of the iPhone than she did the building of the Great Pyramids. Computer-related driver for old flatbed scanners was called Wayne, technology without an interesting name. Suzy Sue, of Susie the Banshees, doesn't go on stage unless she has a jar of cocktail onions in her dressing room. Well, at least she wouldn't. Damn stage manager forgetting that one thing. Bears produce a wax-like substance to shut off their buttholes before falling into their deep sleep for the winter. They do this in order for parasites and other stuff to not injure them. When you add a little bit of soy sauce to vanilla ice cream, it will taste like caramel or salty caramel. If the immune system became aware of the eyes, we would go blind due to it seeing them as a foreign object. Kim Jong-un's father Kim Jong-il kidnapped a South Korean director and his actor's wife and made them make films for him. Most popular being Pulgasari, a Godzilla knockoff. You can squeeze your weenus to skin at the back of the elbow as hard as you like, and it won't hurt. They called old western movies spaghetti westerns because most of them were filmed in Italy. Actually it's because the directors were Italian. It was cheaper filming in that region too. Dragonflies are able to do complex geometry and pound for pound are some of the most efficient hunters to have ever existed. There used to be a lot of ancient Egyptian mummies, except we turned them into paint and ate them. Across Manhattan, between 13th and 41st, at approximately 60 underground, there's a massive 20-deep quartz layer with golden veins running through it. I know because I'm a geologist who does rock sampling. I know more if you guys are interested. And I'll try. The desire to have a large penis is cultural. The ancient Greeks thought a small penis was a sign of virtue and civilization, while those with large penises were thought to be barbaric and unclean. Pirates did not wear an eye patch because they were missing an eye. They switched the eye patch from one eye to another when they went below deck, so one eye was already used to the complete darkness of the inside of an old wooden ship. Saves time. Cool fact, tell it at B-Days. Ellen Foley was the public defender on Night Court before Marky Post joined the cast, and Foley also sang the female part on Paradise by the Dashboard Light by Meatloaf. Your teeth all already there, in your skull, waiting to come out. Toddlers' skulls raised are frightful. A male platypus has a venomous spur on their hind legs. It's not deadly to humans but can cause excruciating pain. The periphery of your vision is more sensitive to faint light than your focused center. You can see some faint stars in your peripheral, but not if you look at it directly.